cozy craft room. My name is Melissa and I'm the maker behind Embeemakes here on YouTube, on Ravelry and on Instagram. If you're new here, be sure to leave a like to this video if you enjoyed it, and also please subscribe to my channel. It really helps to get more people to find my videos. I make regular podcast episodes here on my channel, but from time to time I also like to post a cozy pattern roundup video, and that's what we're doing here today. I've done a bit of a search on Ravelry and on my Instagram to look for the coziest patterns to knit this fall and winter. These are mostly pretty beginner friendly cable knit patterns, I think. Not in the sense that it's great for beginner knitters, but more like knitters who have been knitting for a while and want to try out cable knitting for a first project. I think these are pretty good. I have bought some of these patterns already. I am planning on making some of these this year still. And yeah, without further ado, let's dive in. Maybe first what I'm wearing today. This is not a cable knit since I don't own any cable knits yet, but that will be changing for sure, hopefully by the end of this year. But this is the port sweater by Ozetta. I knit this 2 years ago now, I think, and it's just a super cozy sweater. I love the color. I've knit this in Delirium Natura Gilead, which I'm also working with for another sweater that I'm making right now, my Christmas sweater. And it's a really dry feeling yarn, but it's also kind of soft. I'm wearing I'm wearing this just with the t-shirt underneath, and it's not really scratchy. It's nice and warm and very oversized and cozy. Perfect for the rainy and grey fall weather we're having here today in Belgium. So let's start with this pattern roundup. I have my laptop here on the side to give you some more information about all these patterns, but I will also be popping in pictures here on the side so you have a better view of what I'm looking at. So the first one, let's start with another Ozetta pattern. I've really enjoyed knitting this pattern. The instructions were very clear, so I can recommend knitting her patterns. I really want to knit another one of her patterns. So the first one I have here is the Seaway pullover. This is a pattern from 2023 and it's knit in a DK weight, 20 stitches per 10 centimeters, knit on 5mm needles. It goes from sizes extra small to 5XL, so a very size inclusive pattern. This is again pretty similar to the one I'm wearing, but with cables. And I already have yarn for this. I've been wanting to knit this since last year already. I've purchased another sweater quantity of the Delirium Natura Gilead yarn in a sea green color. And yeah, I have the pattern in my library already. I just need to find time to knit this. Maybe somewhere next year, probably won't be for this year. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to knitting this one. And then Ozetta recently, I think it was just in September, yes, September 2025, she released the Shoreline sweater, which is a pretty similar vibe to the Seaway sweater, but this construction is a little bit different. While the Seaway sweater and the sport sweater is a drop-down shoulder construction, the Shoreline sweater is a saddle shoulder construction, where you, I think, first knit the saddle shoulders and then connect everything and knit it further top down. And this is knit also in a DK weight yarn, 21 stitches per 10 centimeters, knit with 5mm needles. This one also has a lot of positive ease. It's a nice and oversized sweater, so very cozy for fall and winter. And I think the cables that are in this sweater are pretty easy to knit. They all go the same direction, and it's just with stockinette in between the cable rows. So not too much purling involved in this one, I think, except for when you're knitting flat. Then another one that's pretty simple in the cabling part is, I think, the Busan sweater by Agio Knit. For that sweater you only have one big cable at the front, which is good if you're just trying out cabling and don't want to be cabling every few rows. I think this is a good one. And I've been wanting to knit this one as well. I've saved some inspiration pictures on my Instagram where someone knit a beautiful green version of this sweater with the recommended yarn, I think, the Gepard Kitseta and Gepard Woolia. Which is yarn that's available in a yarn store not too far from me, so I might have a look at that and see if I like the color in real life and then go purchase it there, or maybe I will put that sweater quantity on my Christmas wish list. Because I think, yeah, that will be a great sweater, again with a little bit of a higher neck and then a very oversized sweater. This is, however, a raglan construction. So there's actually no purling involved, I think, except for, if I can see, there's some purl rows next to the cables. But aside from that, it's pretty straightforward raglan and a 2x2 rib, or like at least not a simple 1x1 rib, which I think really goes well with the design of this sweater. This is a design from 2023 again. It's 16 stitches per 10 centimeters, so it's an Aran weight, and it also uses 5mm needles. So I think it will also be pretty quick to knit this one. Not too much small cabling to do, and it is, however, only available in 4 sizes. But since it's pretty oversized, it goes from a bust size 117 to 140. The next one is another one that doesn't come in a lot of sizes, only 6 sizes. But I really like the design. I think it's pretty simple and still very beautiful. It's the Syrup Sweater by Ulle Knitwear. It has 23 stitches per 10 centimeters and is knit on 4 and 4.5mm needles. This is not really an all-over cable sweater. You have these panels of stockinette alternating with the panels of cabling. And I also like that this is not like the standard just twisty cable, but is a little bit more interesting. Maybe for the more advanced cable knitter already. This one goes from bust circumference 115 to 163 centimeters. So it's again a pretty oversized fitting sweater with a drop shoulder construction. The next pattern I have for you is a multi-pattern. It includes a sweater, cardigan and slipover version, and I will be making the slipover. I'm talking about the Lauder by the Creabea. And I have been talking about knitting this one for a while. I know if you've been here before. I should have cast this on already, but I really want to clear my needles a bit more first. But this is next on the list to cast on. And this is my swatch. I will be using the fiber company Lore. This is yarn that I bought in London last year or 2 years ago now. And yeah, I really want to knit the V-neck slipover version. I think it will be very nice to have in my wardrobe, a very wearable piece that I could wear to work or just cozy at home as a warm layer on my body. And yeah, it feels a bit more rustic, this yarn, so I won't be wearing this on just my skin. But I think that's why the V-neck version is good, because then it won't come into my neck too high and I can just wear a regular top underneath. The pattern alternates a simple twisted cable here with a more braided cable next to it. So this is really all over cabled. That's why I went with the vest version on this one, just to see how I like knitting this much cables. But I think if I enjoy it, I might probably also knit the sweater or cardigan someday. Some more details about this pattern. The suggested yarn is Vilcolana Peruvian, which is also a yarn I would like to try out someday. So maybe that's what I will do in the future when I knit the sweater or cardigan. It's a DK weight pattern, 22 stitches per 10 rows. It's knit on 3.5 and 2.75 millimeter needles. Comes in 9 sizes. All the different patterns, or like all the different garments in this pattern, come in the 9 sizes, which is great. And it's again knitted top down in the round. Or flat when you're knitting the cardigan, of course. So yeah, this will be my next cast on. Then another cozy cardigan that I want to knit is the Siri cardigan by Knit. This is a pattern from August last year. I've seen it on Instagram quite a lot lately, and I always really like the result in different colors. I think the neutral version that's shown on Ravelry is also a great piece for your wardrobe. So this pattern has 2 cables at the front, and then it's, I think, a kind of moss stitch or seed stitch at the arms and underneath the arms. It comes with a regular 1x1 rib button band. And this is again knit on larger needles. It uses a DK weight yarn, but is knit on 6, 5.5 and 4.5 millimeter needles. And the gauge is 15 stitches per 10 centimeters. So it's pretty loose and airy cardigan. When I will be knitting this cardigan, I will probably go for something like a drops air with a silk mohair. I think that will be a good combination for a light, airy and cozy cardigan. This one comes in quite a lot of sizes, going from extra small to 5XL, so a great size inclusive cardigan pattern. And then I have another vest that I recently added to my to knit list, and this is the Bomnal vest round neck by Cookie the Knitter. This is a DK weight vest, 19 stitches per 10 centimeters, knit on 4.5 and 3.5 millimeter needles, and goes from sizes extra small to 4XL. This is a much simpler slipover pattern because it only has like columns of simple cabled stitches and then a column of stockinette. So a lot less cabling than the Lauder, for example. And I have bought some yarn from the Mindful Creators from her recent collection, Meet Me in Velaris. And I bought this beautiful dark blue greeny color, and I will be using that to knit this pattern probably. I need to swatch and then see if I meet gauge, but the yarn was a pre-order, so I haven't received it yet. So be sure to follow my channel if you want to see this later on this year. This is again a top-down knitted vest and has a 2 to 8 centimeters of positive ease built into it. This will make for a lovely layering piece for fall and winter. And then the last garment design that I have here for you today is the Ginger Sweater by Adorable Knits. This is also one that I have on my needles. And that's because I cast this on 2 years ago. I don't have much to show because I'm still where I left this. About a year ago I picked it up again to start the short rows and the cables, and then I put it on the side again to work on other knits. And well, now I really want to work on this one again. Probably again I should work on my current whips first before picking this up again. I have some other cable knits that I want to finish first also, that I will show later in this video. But it's really beautiful. You can see the start of the cables here. I have this new tool for cabling that I really like. Wait, I will show you. It's this. It's called Flox Floops, and it's essentially a kind of stitch holder, but you could also use this as a cable needle. It is pretty small, but you just can easily move like your stitches that you need to cable on this needle, then move them around. And they don't really fall off. This has quite a lot of grip to it. At least I only tried this for like smaller yarn and a smaller project. I don't know how it will go with this project, but I will try this out. The yarn I'm using is Lang Yarns Malu Light in this beautiful gingery orange color. And since Adorable Knits is currently hosting a knit along with 4 other knitters, I will be joining and working on this one again. The knit along is for all the adorable ginger patterns, so the sweater. It also has a slipover, mittens, headband, and also a hat that I also have on my needles since last year or also 2 years ago. She previously did a ginger cal as well, and then I was working on this one again, but I didn't finish. I'm slightly modifying the pattern because you have this twisted rib border here that you should knit a lot longer and then fold up. But I won't be folding this because I was just tired of knitting the twisted rib. But I'm now working on the cables and will do a few more cables before starting the crown decreases. The yarn I'm using is Dererum Natura Ulysse. It's the thinner version of the Gilead. And I have 2 skeins of this. I bought it on vacation and I'm still on my first one for the hat. So with the second one I will be making a matching pair of mittens. Hopefully still this year and I can join in the cal. Maybe that motivates me a bit more to work on these. So definitely go check out Dorothy's Instagram, Adorable Knits, and maybe also take part in the knit along. Now let's talk about some cozy cabled accessories for your home or for winter to wear. And the first one is the Minto cushion by Knitonomy. She has quite a few of the Minto collection patterns. She also has, I think, a sweater and a t-shirt. And I really like the cable design that's on this. I think it's a bit more intricate than just a simple cable. But for a cushion, I think it looks very cozy. It's knit in a worsted weight yarn, 24 stitches per 10 centimeters, knit on 4mm needles. And I think it could also make a great gift to knit for someone because you don't have to know their size. You can even buy a pillow to go with it and then give that for Christmas maybe. But I think it would also make a great addition for my cozy couch downstairs. And I actually haven't knit anything for my home yet, so it might be a great addition. And if you like this type of cable, I also found the Flower Knot Mittens by Laura Moretz. This is a pattern from November 2023. It's knit with a DK weight and has 28 stitches per 10 centimeters on 3.5mm needles. These mittens look super cozy. There isn't really any ribbing, so maybe that's something I might add when I knit this pattern. The pattern comes in 2 different sizes and it's knitted cuff up with a thumb gusset for your thumb. And another pattern with this cable design is actually a free pattern, and that's the Oodie socks by Sarah Nordland. It's a beautiful cabled sock, looks super cozy, knit with fingering weight yarn, 32 stitches per 10 centimeters on 2.5mm needles. It only comes in sizes 38-39. So since I am a European size 36, if I want to knit these, I should probably look at the pattern and see the amount of stitches cast on. Maybe I can change that myself or add this type of cable to an existing pair of socks, or like a pattern that I own where I know the sizing is right for my foot. And then another winter accessory to knit is the Marenki Kaal by Noelita. Don't know if I pronounced that right. I will make sure to link the bundle that I've created for this video below, where you can find all the patterns that I mentioned today. So this is a cowl knit with drops air. It's an Aran weight yarn, 17 stitches per 10 centimeters, knit on 5mm needles. And if I can see correctly, you would only need 2 skeins of this yarn to make this cowl. So I think it's a pretty budget friendly knit and also great to try your hand at cabling. There's cones of stockinette and cables interchanged. So I think it's pretty interesting and should go pretty fast on 5mm needles. And essentially you can make it as long as you want. It's just knit top down. I don't think there's any shaping in this pattern. It's essentially just a tube for your neck, but it looks really cozy and warm, so I might be knitting this one this winter for myself. And then I have another free pattern for you. This is the Soft Embrace Hat by Celeste Knitwear. She has quite a few free patterns with cables, different types of cables, but this one I think is the simplest and could also again make a great gift knit. It's knit in DK weight yarn in drops daisy, 22 stitches per 10 centimeters. It uses 3 and 3.5mm needles. It only comes in one size, which is adult medium, but I think since it's cabled it can stretch out bigger or also fit on a smaller hat maybe. If I knit this pattern this winter, I will probably use this yarn. My favorite DK weight British yarn. It's the Blue Faced Leicester Fleece by West Yorkshire Spinners. It's a super soft and cozy yarn. I really love this color. I think it will be great as a hat. And it will be just the right amount to knit a hat like this. So great if you have that one skein of hand-dyed DK yarn or those 2 leftover skeins of DK yarn. I think make a great simple pattern. And then last but not least, the Victoria scarf by Orsa Knits. The tiny scarves are really on trend right now. You see them a lot on the street. You also find a lot of store-bought tiny scarves at the moment. But of course it's a lot more fun to knit your own. And I've knit this one in a beautiful cashmere while I was on my honeymoon in the beginning of October. And it's a pretty quick knit. I knit this in only a week. I didn't spend a lot of time knitting on this, so it knit up pretty fast. It's knit in a DK weight yarn on 3.5mm needles. I knit this one in a cashmere that was slightly thicker because I had less yarn than I had thought. But I just used half of my skein for the increases and then started decreasing when I was close to getting half. I have a little bit of yarn left over, but I rather have some leftover that I could use for a future colorwork thing or something than play yarn chicken. But this is just the right size. I put it on. not really a match for this sweater, but it's really cute and also keeps my neck a little bit warm. So this features a pretty simple cable all over, but it's pretty mindless. The pattern has charts for the entire scarf, but I only looked at it at the beginning, and then when I came to the point where I had to start decreasing, and then at the end. So yeah, you don't really need to keep the pattern right next to you all the time. And yeah, it's a pretty quick knit with a lovely result. So lovely that I'm knitting it again. So this yarn I just took with me on my honeymoon because I had a skein that was already wound and I wanted to knit a tiny scarf with that skein, and this was the pattern I picked because I already had it in my pattern library. But the yarn I originally bought for this pattern is the Isager Alpaca 2 that I bought on vacation last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, in this beautiful brownie burnt orange color. And I'm holding 2 strands together, and this is what I have so far. I'm still increasing. I will weigh my yarn to check when I've reached half of it. But yeah, I really think those cables are beautiful, and for this one I'm using this little tool. That's when I discovered that it's really useful for this type of cabling. I think it will be a lovely color and another great tiny scarf. So those were all the patterns I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like or a comment down below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!